How's it going? It is Charles Botensten from Botensten Properties International. Today we're going to be discussing a topic that comes up a lot by buyers now. And this is super important because they look at, especially with the advent of Street Easy and everyone's on there, is that they notice how much a property was sold by because it's public information, but now it's easily found online. It's on Street Easy. And I get this question all the time, i.e. today. Buyer calls up, hey, listen, went to an open house yesterday, loved it, want to put an offer. Noticed on Street Easy that they bought it for XYZ in 2008. And they're selling it. They're selling it at a significant profit. And it's one of those things, it's really hard to tell a buyer that, that's 2008. And I know a lot of people are going to say, you understand this, but if you are the buyer in this position, it's hard to actually wrap your head around the significant profit. And listen, I just represented an owner that she made a profit of almost 70%. She literally almost doubled her profit. It was unbelievable, like how much she made in, by the way, 4 years. Yeah. In almost 4 years. She was just off of it. She made about a 70% profit in 4 years, which is quite significant. And she was super happy. But as well as the buyer there, they came in direct. In other words, they weren't being represented by an agent, but the buyer said, they're making so much money. And I'm like, I know they're making so much money, but this is the current market. The market right now is different than when they bought it 4 years ago. 4 years ago, which was 2010, nobody was lending at all. Everyone hated the banks, so the banks were like, okay, we're not going to lend. The government froze the banks. The credit freeze was in place. The world was ending. Everyone was like, I'm not buying. We have no idea if there's going to be unemployment as high as 8 and 10% as it was in 2010, 2011. And we don't know if the housing market's ever going to be coming back because there's a glutton of inventory. And sure enough, this owner who just sold literally was like, I'm going to buy. And she bought then and then sold now. She bought in the worst time. She sold at a great time. And the buyer's like, why are they, why? It's like, why are they deserving of the money? I feel like I'm overpaying for the property. It's probably not on. That's probably not it, that they feel like they're not deserving of the money. The buyer probably feels that they are overspending and overpaying for the property. They feel like it's overpriced based on the profit that the owner is getting. So the conversation I had today was totally different because in 2008, when they purchased, 2008, and when they purchased was at the height of the market. Like literally they bought at the height of the market. And I told the buyer, I'm like, they bought this 6 years ago. Like after 6 years, I would hope I would actually make more profit than this owner is potentially going to make. And granted, the property was overpriced based on the price per square foot in the condo. But I was telling the buyer, I'm like, 2008, 2014, two totally different markets. And I know you're looking at the profit, but it's one of those things that as a buyer, you have to consider you are buying literally at this time. So perfect example is that a home can sit for 3 months and then out of nowhere, this actually happened to me. A home sat for 2 months, nothing. And then out of nowhere, two cash offers went over the asking price. After those 2 months from when I put it on the market to when we got the 2 all cash offers and it went over the asking price, it's a totally different market in 2 months. So the snapshot of the market, in my opinion, every 30 days is a new market. Because every 30 days, things go off the market, things come on the market. You can get a glutton of 1 bedrooms that come on the market that decrease the home values of all the other 1 bedrooms, or the 1 bedroom inventory could shrink, and then you're looking at it and you're like, this snapshot of 1 bedrooms has dramatically changed in the last 30 days, let alone how much it changed in 6 years from when my buyer today was talking about the profit that they're making. The time, so this is a perfect example, is that the owner bought at the height of the market, which was the dumbest time. But to them, they're like, oh my God, it's going up, it's going up, it's going up, it's going up, it's going up. And they're like, I got to buy. They got into it and they bought. And then they're like, wow, that wasn't a good time. And people thought that was dumb and the owner was screwed. But in fact, that was the actual snapshot of the market. The snapshot of the market was, it was going crazy. It was on fire. Everyone was buying in '08. Really, at the end of '08 is when things started saying, oh, actually, this isn't really that good. So they got into contract, I think in the beginning of '08 or in the end of '07. They had to buy it because they're in contract. Otherwise, they would lose their down payment. They purchased. The market went from here to, and then it rebounded now, 6 years later. And you're looking at, you didn't see that the home price went down and then went up. And this is literally their profit now. But at one time, they could have went a lot. All right. I don't know why it's doing that. There we go. So you're looking at the profit. Don't look at the profit. And I know it's really hard you're looking at the profit, but you have to look at right now. Right now. Because in the future, you could be that owner in 4 years where you're doubling your profit. Or in 4 years, you're like, uh-oh, bad mistake. Wrong time to buy when I did buy. But you're buying in this snapshot today, at this moment. This is the current market. You are an active buyer at this moment. If the home value, don't look at the profit, look at the home value. If you feel the home value is going to keep on going up, which it does in the last 20 years, on average, home prices through the ups and downs, it goes like this, but on average, it goes up 6% every single year. So that's what you should consider is the actual snapshot of the home, not the profit that the owner is making. Someone could have bought in 1989 for $65,000 and they're selling it for $1.5 million. And you're like, wow, look at the profit they're making. But they also were sitting on that property in '89 when there was a recession that was about to happen, and then a dot-com bubble, and then 9/11, and then the housing crisis. So you're looking at it, you're like, whoa. But that's literally almost 30 years later. So listen, look at it in the right now market, not at the profit that the owner's making. Base it on the comparables that closed within the last 60 days. Look at what's on the market now. And that's the best way to compare a property because, yes, I wouldn't even look at how much they paid for it because whatever they paid for it, they paid for it. It's kind of a psychological thing for me because if they look like they're losing money after the closing costs, then the owner's going to keep it at a high price. So anyway, don't look at how much a buyer or how much the owner bought it for because they deserve whatever profit they make or whatever loss they can make. Or whatever loss they do make. All right, anyway, I'm Charles Botensten. I probably will have a follow-up video because this is a pretty hot topic. I'm Charles Botensten from Botensten Properties International. Follow us on YouTube, obviously, because it's our favorite social media network. Actually, our favorite social media network is Instagram. And we talk about everything. So if you have any comments, leave it in the comment section. We come out with a new video every single weekday. We'll be flying out to Toronto tomorrow. And as always, hope you have a fantastic night, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow.